Welcome to Tech Tuesdays. I'm Rich Dixon.
And I'm Jennifer Gibson.
Today we're going to take a look at a resource called LiveBinders. It's a great way to collect and organize and share information. Jennifer, would you like to start us off by demonstrating something?
I would.
All right.
Yes. LiveBinders is a fabulous virtual organizer. Imagine a binder, if you will, that's located in space. And it is so great for both you, collaborating with peers, and your students. So let's go ahead and sign in.
All right.
What you'll see on the screen right now is a place to sign in, or if you need to create a new account, you can do so in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and sign in, Rich, with my account that I have. Let me just go ahead and put in my email. And basically, you can use this both on an iPad mobile device, or you can use it with your laptop. And there's a bookmarklet tool that's included. Great. So now that you see I'm signed in, and this is where I can start to look at the binders I've created. And as I said earlier, these are binders that are virtual. Rich, why don't you go ahead and take a look at all of my binders?
Okay, and before we begin, I think I want to just point out the appeal of having a service that we can access through any web browser, even if we don't have a tablet, as well as the integration into the ubiquitous iPad tablet, which we seem to have more and more of in our classrooms. But let's go ahead and take a look at these virtual binders. I'm going to go ahead and start with public. And tell us a little bit about what a public binder is as opposed to what's labeled below private binder.
All right, well, the public binders are available for anyone in the whole world to take a look at. They're searchable, so as you type in key terms into the LiveBinder website, these binders come up. When they are private, which I don't have any private binders because I tend to share with everyone.
It's a great thing to do.
Note that a private binder would be something for a minor to use, like a student in your class. If they were collecting information, let's say on a report on Egypt, they might want to put their report and research and information they found into the binder, and it's not something you really want to have it be public.
That makes a lot of sense. It would help keep student data and potentially even access to the students more private and secure.
One thing I do want to note is that if you have a private binder, you get a secret passcode that you can share with other people so that they can take a look at the binder, like a teacher who wants to grade it, peers that want to collaborate. And I really think that this starts to turn to some of the standards of publishing and getting peer reviews.
That was going to be my next question, was whether or not we can actually share private binders with those adults, for example, if it's a student that has a LiveBinder account, that actually should have access to them, like a parent and a teacher. So they can do that. That's outstanding. And I'm also noticing here my collaborative binders. Tell me about that.
So again, I don't have any of those set up today, but they are there for a group of people to work together on a project. So let's say, back to that Egypt report idea, if you and I were doing a report on Egypt, we could share and collaborate on the things that we were collecting and uploading to this particular binder. So let's take a look at one of the binders that I have here. I'm going to choose iPads and iPods in the classroom. You can see right now that being that it's public, I have over 4,000 views on this particular binder.
That's a lot of views.
It is. What I also like is that right now it looks like I'm looking at a couple of different screens. Well, I can slide the screen over and it gives me more room and I can start to take a look at these different screens. So once I have the screen set, I can go ahead and look at when it was created. This was created in 2011.
Okay.
The last time I edited it was on the 16th of April. How many views, how many likes. And then I can start to do some things like, first of all, if I touch present, it gives me one frame to look at. And I can start to look at the different tabs.
Okay, this makes sense. Again, just like a binder, we have tabs separating subjects. Okay.
And then what you'll notice is down here, I have sub-tabs, like a binder, where I can put different items in. So for example, this one's going to go ahead and take me to the iTunes store because it's looking at a particular app. So now I'm there. To go back, this was on the Common Core Standards. I was recommending this app, which we'll look at on another day. But let's go ahead and go back to the LiveBinder. So once I open it back up, when you select these things on your laptop or your desktop, you see it in the binder frame. Right now, because we're using a tablet, we won't necessarily see everything in the frame. We may have to go to the actual site.
That makes sense.
Okay, so let's go ahead and say we're done viewing or presenting the binder. But now we might want to edit our binder. I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit.
What are the kinds of things, when you say edit, what can we bring into LiveBinder?
Well, the things that you might edit is if you notice at the top where it says introduction, I might want to change that label for that tab. So
Okay.
I could edit the labels to the tabs and the sub-tabs as well. But if you look in the yellow bar here, I can update my binder cover. Right now, it's a video for using GarageBand.
Oh, great.
I can change the background color of the binder.
Okay.
So this allows me to change individual colors or set a background cover. I'm going to go ahead and just push cancel for right now. I also can have color themes. You notice over on the left-hand side, this is where I gave my binder a title. This is iPads and iPods in the classroom, and a description as well as tags. And tags are ways that people can search for and find the binder. So this one has,
Would those be like keywords?
they are like keywords.
Okay, all right.
Exactly. So technology, apps, education. And then they have you put in a category, and this one's for education. There are other categories you can select. And then this is where you choose access.
Very good.
So
Okay.
right now, I have public access, and that people can copy my binder and then create their own binder.
Nice,
Sort
kind of like a mashup. They could take
yeah.
a bit of what they like from you and then kind of create their own
And they're
that fits
curated.
their context. Exactly,
Yeah.
curation. Yeah, that's
so
great.
then you also can make it public, but they aren't able to copy it, and that means they have to go with the way you saw fit. So that's another option.
Perfect.
Private copyable means I shared a private passcode for you to get in and use, and then you can make a copy and decide.
Great.
And then private, no copy. And
Yes.
that, I think, is the strictest, policy that there is, and that would be what you would want to use with a student.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, what kinds of information? I see that you've referenced a movie, and I'm assuming there's links, obviously, to the App Store, but what
Right.
other kinds of media or content can be brought into this?
Good point. So you can upload files. So as we go through, I'm going to go ahead and click Done here. And back at now the app is a little different than the website. So let me just see if I need to go back here. The app is a little different from the website, but if you click on this, this is where it can go into my Google Drive and
Oh,
start
wow.
to upload some of my files.
So wait a second. So if you have your Google Drive filled with different documents, you,
Mm-hmm.
your students, parents have all been working on or at least viewing and whatnot, you could then import the things that are appropriate to your LiveBinder
Right.
from your existing Google Drive account.
You're right.
That really opens up a lot of doors.
It does. And basically, remember, a binder is a way of putting things together for a topic or a theme.
Okay.
So it's curation, like a museum.
Yes.
So we're putting this all together. And so we're taking maybe documents that you already have and then putting them into this topic or this theme. Online, there's a bookmarklet tool that allows you to go and select websites as you're browsing and have them upload straight into the binder.
I think I've seen those before where they're next to the address bar. A lot of
Yes,
times you'll click when you visit the
absolutely.
website and it'll automatically put the content on that website to a
Right.
particular service, in this case, LiveBinder.
Right, so there's a lot of unique things that you can do. The app, of course, is a little bit more limited, but you can access your binders and do some editing. It's not a full LiveBinder experience that the website is, but it has enough, I think, if you need to make some quick little changes.
Well, this looks like a great resource for us to consider implementing into our instructional environment in order to increase collaboration, to help curate or collect and organize information, both having students do that as well as instructors and educators, and just a simple way to be able to share out with others, even beyond our classroom walls, what we're working on and
Well, you
begin
can see
to
that.
dialogue with others.
Well, when you look at how many views a lot of these binders, the newest one I have on there is the Common Core Technology Standards. I shared that and created that last week, and in just a few days, I have 17 views already.
Which is outstanding.
Which
That's
is
great.
outstanding. And then you can see, some of these others, especially the iPad and iPod one, that has a lot of views. And it's pretty fun to know that I'm collaborating with 4,300 other people out there.
Absolutely, and I think just to summarize, what's so valuable about this particular service is, again, that it's available through any web browser, as well as tablets like the iPad. And then again, it's a really easy way to keep all of your ideas and main resources all in one spot to access instead of having to grab a website, content from a website here or a document there. We can keep it all in one location, which is, in this case, LiveBinders.
And guess what?
How much does it cost?
It's free.
It's free.
It's free. So it's wonderful. And there's tutorials on the site. So we hope you enjoyed today's Tech Tuesday. Be sure to check out LiveBinder, the app, and the website.